The strive to get views on YouTube is like a drug addiction. Every single time you fail to get a quick hit, you start scratching at the neck, panicking. However, as soon as you're flourishing in them, what do you start doing? Floating in a pool of ecstasy. It's one of the best feelings ever. However, a little over a month ago, something bad happened on YouTube. Views weren't being accounted for. Now, for many people, that starts ringing massive alarm bells in their head. Oh my gosh, I wonder why that video did so bad. I put so much time and effort into it. Yeah, I've got 100 subscribers. Oh, YouTube has to be shadow banning me. That's like one of the kind of go-to excuses whenever a video doesn't perform well. However, for the first time in YouTube history, there's actually a problem on the inside. Now, I want to give a massive credit to Josh Strife Hayes for this investigation. It's genuinely really impressive what he's put together here. It's the kind of thing which would just whiff under many people's noses. However, for him, it was stenching like a shit in a toilet.
Specifically around the August 9th to 12th period, because that is the date range the desktop views specifically fall out of correlation with the other device types and become consistently lower.
Now, if you're a small channel, I want to start off by saying don't go scrambling to your analytics, panicking, trying to figure out why your views are low. It's likely just because the video was bad. However, if you are a big creator, you're maybe getting the tens of thousands of views per day. This is likely something that you're experiencing right now. And although I'm not a massive creator, I do just want to show my own channel, for example. So if we do take a look at my channel right now, you can see the views are very sporadic and random. I'm posting every day, if you don't know already. That's why my views are so kind of up and down. And if I am looking at the 10th of August, you can actually see my views are up for that day. I'm not a big channel, so I'm not experiencing this, thankfully. And so I am just going to go out there and save a bunch of people some time right now and say to you, if your channel isn't big, it is extremely unlikely that you're being affected by this. However, if we are taking Josh Strife Hayes, for example, his channel has been massively affected by this. He went from getting 12,000 views to 6,000 within a day. And he has a really great example as well, where he just compares two different videos, posted at different times, and literally every single one of his videos will usually have the most amount of views on desktop. However, right here, that wasn't the case.
And my next video, Was It Good? Neverwinter Nights, Hordes of the Underdark, released on August 21st. And that was the first video ever on my channel to have a higher view count from mobile devices than from desktop PCs.
Obviously, it kind of comes down to the style of content that you're making. Like, if a lot of your content is primarily just for like phone users, maybe you post YouTube Shorts, for example, you definitely won't see this come up as often. Or perhaps your content is targeted to a younger audience. Obviously, you're not going to see this as much because a young audience, they're going to be on tablets, on mobiles, they're going to be using their parents' phones. The chances of anyone under the age of like 13 actually being on a computer watching YouTube is extremely low already. So the channels that are really going to be affected by this are people that have a bigger audience, people that are targeting those older generations which are watching videos on a computer. However, I'm sure many of you are thinking right now, why does this only account for PCs? It doesn't really make sense. Like, if you're seeing a drop in views, you're usually seeing it across everything, not just one specific area. And that was a little bit of a mystery until Josh Strife Hayes decided to make another video on it, and it seems he's actually found the core root of the problem.
But then a stranger aspect appeared. All of these channels, despite seeing low computer views from August 10th onwards, had not seen a drop in revenue. And I think that was the key.
I can imagine when Josh was investigating this, he started putting his fingers together like an investigator, thinking, we've got them, boys. I'm finally putting the pieces together. I've got my fingers in the pies and I'm creaming in it. Because in case you can't figure out what's going on right there, if you're a monetized channel, every single one of your views is a monetized view. Unless that person is on a computer and they have an ad blocker, then obviously the ads aren't getting viewed. And what happens then? The view isn't monetized. So what is actually going on here? I'm going to let Josh explain it because his way of words is significantly better than mine.
The lost views were not monetized views. Because if they were, we would have seen a reduction in revenue, which we didn't. And computers, both desktop and laptop, are more likely to have third-party ad blockers installed than mobiles, TVs, or tablets.
Yeah, I know that was kind of a little bit of a runabout through a maze, just keep on running into the same wall over and over again. However, if we are just stopping, we're not going to run anymore, we're going to take some deep breaths and understand what's going on right here. If you're using an ad blocker on YouTube, just to put it in short, simple, sweet words, your views aren't being accounted for that YouTuber. I feel like that's quite an obvious one, however, maybe it's something that just doesn't ping off into people's heads. When you use an ad blocker, that view is no longer being accounted for on YouTube. It's basically pointless counting those views for the YouTubers because it doesn't really show them a true determination of what their RPM is. And just in case you're not in like the spaghetti and meatballs of YouTube, RPM basically just establishes like how much money you're making per 1,000 views. But then obviously if someone's watching with an ad blocker, it's blocking the ads and those views aren't actually accounting for any money. So what could end up happening is if YouTube was to count this, you would get content creators getting like tens of thousands of views, but then they'd only be making like $3 from it. And then they think, oh shoot, my RPM's really bad. And YouTube would think the exact same thing. However, would you be surprised if I I told you right now that this wasn't actually YouTube's matter and it was the ad blockers doing this themselves.
Either. A huge amount of computer viewers all decided on August 10th to collectively stop watching a huge amount of channels all at once, which I think is remarkably unlikely. Or two, the data of the views wasn't being sent to YouTube.
Now, just in case you aren't already aware, YouTube receives the data for the views. It's not like some sort of like tracking system where it's like, oh, this person clicked this, let's just tick this up a number. It's if a video actually gets watched, then it gets sent over to YouTube. So if there's an ad blocker going out there saying, oh, we're gonna block this, it's basically putting a wall in front of that saying like, YouTube's on this side, this is a person trying to watch video, this is the ad blocker, oh, I'm watching this video, YouTube, here, please give this content creator money, here, please count the view, and it's just not letting that happen. And if I'm being entirely honest, I genuinely think that's the issue. I don't think it's on YouTube's behalf whatsoever. They have made some statements saying that they haven't changed the way that they're counting views, and I genuinely believe that. But yeah, I just wanted to ramble on about this situation a little bit. I've seen, so many people discussing it, and I figured I'd get like the full warp of the story before jumping into it. If you are a small channel and you're trying to find reasons as to why your videos aren't getting views, I hate to bust your balls, but the content just isn't good. You're not really hitting the mark with it. There are obviously other reasons as well, like consistency and just maintaining your actual channel. So please don't go out there instantly assuming, oh, it's YouTube's behalf, because it is such a lazy cop-out. I've been there, done that, and I've learned from my mistakes. Please take some advice from me. Obviously, I'm not a massive channel. I'm not even being affected by this situation. But at the end of the day, it's only just like the big channels which are being affected by this, and that is truly unfortunate. So, yeah, that's about it. See ya.